Hello, people. Welcome back to the next episode of Real Tech Talk with your man, the one, the only. Am I really introducing myself like that? Eric Brody, here we are. And today we have a very, 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 very special guest. It's our first robot. But today we have Verobotics on the ones and twos. They're going to talk to us about robotics. So far, as you've been out there and you've been seeing it, we've been talking about SaaS, right? Which is basically a subscription as a service, freemium. We've talking about every other model that's out there. We've never met anyone that took the time, has to invest all the capital into a robot, and then to see if it actually works. Completely different paradigm, completely different way of looking at technology, but still is PropTech and construction tech. So I'm super excited to meet our next guest, my boy Ido. Ido, come on down, baby. That's why we're here, bro. This is Real Tech Talk. Boom shakalaka. So who the hell are you, bro? You know, what are you into? What do you do? Yo, you can keep it real here. Tell me about these real estate players.
Eric Brody is the managing principal of VC LLC. All opinions expressed by Eric and podcast guests are solely their own opinions and do not reflect the opinion of VC LLC. This podcast is for informational purposes only and should not be relied upon as a basis for investment decisions. Clients of VC LLC may maintain positions in the securities discussed in this podcast.
Welcome to the Real Tech Talk podcast. I'm going to do an intro after, so you don't even have to worry, where I'm going to fucking talk all about you. Are our first robot ever, just so you know. These are the first robots we've ever seen. We haven't had anyone on here. Everyone else is doing SaaS platforms. Everyone else on here is doing it. You are our first ever robot. I feel like I'm popping my cherry. I am no longer a virgin after this. I am dealing with robots. And what I said to myself was, when the robots take over the universe, I have to be a part of it, and you're my first robot who may be taking over the universe. So welcome aboard, Ido. Thank you so much for flying in and coming to see me. You know?
Thank you. Great to be here. I know, being in the robotic industry, a lot of time it's kind of the craziest guy in the neighborhood that decided to do something real. Happy to be here and to discuss a bit more about robotics.
That's awesome. So you're saying that robotics in general, that's a different sphere when we talk about technology, which I completely agree with you. It's like we have all of these apps that are going online, and then you said, you know, we're actually going to create something and see if it's useful. You know what I'm saying? So we'd love to hear how you got into this industry, and then how you got into robotics itself, and then how you took that risk. So tell me a little bit about how you even got into technology, and then why you chose robotics.
Robotics chose me. No, I'm kidding. So we established the company a year ago.
Yeah.
A bit more than that. And before that, I was VP Innovation and Business Development of Israel leading facade constructor company.
So facades, for my audience, is the exterior of a building, the building envelope, we like to say.
Exactly.
And look at you using the big terms. We got curtain wall, we got window wall, and what does that mean? That means basically whether the facade passes through the slab or stops on each slab.
Exactly.
Look at that. I know about construction. I mean, this is crazy.
So this is probably the biggest company in Israel. You know, if you've been to Tel Aviv, so all the major skyscrapers they did.
So most of the time, you're saying on facades, it's these tall buildings, right? Because on smaller buildings, we don't have facades.
Yeah. Most of the time, we're talking about glass, aluminum, alucobond, other materials, not brick outer layer.
And alucobond is aluminum.
Yeah.
Basically.
Kind of aluminum.
It's a brand name for aluminum.
Yeah.
Okay. So you were biz dev there. You were working in this industry. So you're a construction guy.
Yeah, I was leading the innovation in the company. So this is basically my father-in-law company.
Okay. So you married well. You married up, you know?
Yeah. Depends who you ask. So I decided to join the company because I was really intrigued about how to bring innovation to construction. And before that, I did some enterprise sales roles in some startup in Israel, selling SaaS, the dark side. Mm-hmm. And I believe that there could be a lot of opportunities there in the construction industry. You know, me and my wife together for 10 years, and all of the conversation I'm hearing on Friday dinner, and every interaction I have with their family is about problem here, problem there.
It's an angry business, construction, right?
It's difficult, and especially, you know, to be a subcontractor in a massive project.
Right. So you're saying subcontractor, and obviously since so many of our listeners are contractors here, you're saying it's below the prime agreement, right?
Exactly.
You don't have the direct relationship with the owner, so you're sort of getting beat up all the time.
They do have, in Israel at least, but at the end of the day, you know, it's part of a huge product.
Okay.
The outer layer of the building. And my goal was, to get into the company. We've built some kind of an innovation model. That the idea was to see how we can optimize things, to create a better construction process, to bring more sensors to the building, making them smart.
Well, those are two different. One is the process, which is cloud-based, and then you're saying you were actually working on sensors and stuff like that, and how you can get feedback on the site.
Exactly.
Oh, cool.
So, the idea is you're aware of LEED Platinum and well, and all of these measurements for building to be energy efficient.
Correct.
So
which goes back to this ESG, right?
Exactly.
Environmental, social governance. How are you lack of impacting the environment, a little greener?
Exactly. So a lot of things, and one of the things that kept the company busy for a while was how can we maintain the building envelope better?
Okay.
Because, it's...
Yeah, why is that important? Who cares
important.
about the facade? Tell me what are the things that happen?
Perfect. So, the facade is always out there. Sun, rain, dust, winter, summer.
I sometimes speak at school. I always say the facade is like your skin, right? So people understand like what the facade is,
nice.
right?
I need to use it.
Waterproofing, waterproofing, keeping all the guts inside, right?
Exactly.
All right.
Exactly.
Look, you can learn from me too.
Yeah.
Look at that. Boom.
Amen. At the end of the day, this company doing high-rise building invested millions of dollars. And the way facade is being maintained today is expensive and inefficient because this job is being made by human. And nothing
so it's expensive and inefficient because basically you can't get any information from it. A human has to look at it, right? And just so you know, and what you probably know is we got a big issue here in New York, right? It's called Local Law 11.
Amen.
And even crazier than that is like what happened, right? We have this issue. People are chilling on the street. This lady's walking. I think she was an architect. Boom, a piece flies off the facade, cracks her in the head, dead, right? So this issue itself is actually like impacting, right? So it's human-led. And obviously, we sometimes have problems, right?
Yeah.
So how did that lead to, for you, you know? So you're responsible for innovation. So how did you get out of...
So my goal was to bring things that will improve processes.
Mm-hmm.
And we, in Israel at least, when we gave project, we gave warranty. If someone didn't maintain the building the way it needed to...
the warranty was void.
Exactly.
So your job was how to void warranties, right? That's how we think about insurance here in New York. It's more like you think you have it and you're protected, but there's a million things you were supposed to do that's not happening.
Exactly. So I wanted to bring a robotic solution to Israel. I said, okay, with today advanced technology, we have Tesla, we have unique drones, we have Musk building spaceship going to space and going back to Israel. There's got to be a robotic solution that can replace human from cleaning, inspection, and so on. And I started to do research, a very organic process that, okay, let's source the solution out there in the world and let's just bring it to Israel.
So can I translate that?
Yes.
You Googled it.
No. Don't insult me, come on.
I'm kidding. But you said to yourself, there's no, you can't get any information about a facade except from a human. There must be another solution.
Yeah, and not just the information, the entire process of upkeep, cleaning. It doesn't make sense that today still, if you Google window cleaning, exterior window cleaning today and 60 years ago, it looked the same. Person is either with a rope access or in the BMU, the building management unit. Nothing has changed. And
so there's no innovation.
No innovation. Mm-hmm. Maybe the ropes are safer and the chemicals are more friendly, but at the end of the day, and again, you'll see tomorrow, but you'll see images from today and 60, 70, 80 years ago. It's still the same. No,
so you identified the same problem we've been harping on here is we're building slower. It's not innovating. We're not changing. So you're saying humans on the facade on the installation and humans on the upkeep. There's got to be something else. Boom.
Exactly. So I did a Google in the beginning and I identify companies from Japan to China to South Korea to Germany, even Israeli company that developed some kind of a robotic system. And for 12 months, I talked with everyone, getting quotes from them, understanding the product. And it was a really organic process of, okay, let's find the best solution in Israel. Just scale it. We have around 40 assets in Tel Aviv, and let's do it.
Oh, just because you're the innovation guy, right? I'll take what's already existing and I'll use it on my own, and here we go, right?
Yeah,
and what did you find in that research?
So I found a lot of companies. I found a lot of failed attempts from companies that started 10 years ago and closed after a few years, and there are a few solutions today in the market. All of the solutions today in the market are very bulky, very massive, very difficult to maintain, very difficult to install, super expensive. And at the end of the process, when we looked at everything, we said, okay, this is nothing that we can use. It's not solving the problem. It's not solving the pain. I still need to use the existing infrastructure on the roof. Scaling is almost impossible. It's like hundreds of pounds, hundreds of kilograms. And I understand that there is a potential in here because, in this research that I did, I understood that this is, if we're looking at building envelope cleaning, inspection, and maintenance, this is more than a $50 billion industry a year, addressable market.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Only cleaning is $30 billion.
Just cleaning the facades?
Just cleaning facade globally.
Because it's just, I guess, so much risk
it's
to
expensive.
Have those humans up there.
You know how much it costs in New York to have a window cleaning guy here in the city?
No, how much?
$120,000 per year.
Wow.
Yeah.
For what? One building?
For one person.
One person
costs you.
And then how much can they get done?
Limited. They can do around 400 to 500 square feet per day. They do 9
And what's an average facade, though? Like 400 or 500 square feet?
Depends on the building. But let's take 7 World Trade Center, for example.
Yeah. That one's a
50-store building, 52 stores. They, two people, a team of 2, will take a quarter to do the building. So it's like...
By that time, it's dirty again, no?
Exactly.
Where you started?
like the San Francisco Bridge. They say that they are painting in, they finish, and they start again.
It's crazy. Yeah. All right, so you found this issue, right? And you're like, all right, cool. There's something out there for me, but... Are you a robot guy? Did you build robots on the weekends?
I don't do anything that's come to hardware at home. My wife doesn't even let me to paint the wall or to fix the TV or nothing.
So how do you create? Now you go, okay. So what do you do? How do you get it done?
I knew what need to be done in the value perspective level. Okay. I knew that there is a great opportunity here. Mm-hmm. There is a huge market that is constantly growing, and if someone will be ambitious enough and will think outside of the box and will be a bit of a crazy with a bit of a chutzpah, something can be done.
Chutzpah for our audience?
Chutzpah is everyone is
Couillons in Spanish, I believe, is balls in English.
Yeah,
balls. Okay, good.
Balls
is
the right etymology.
We're not a family show here. We can curse,
Yeah, that's okay.
Okay, so then that is the idea for your company, which is?
Verobotics.
Verobotics. And I see that you brought a lot of branded gear today to show us all about Verobotics.
Yeah, look at this one. Yeah. Last time you've seen the robot. Last time the robot traveled to the US and will come here again very soon.
So now what is the company? So what did you create?
Perfect. So I knew that in order to succeed, we need to build a robotic platform that will be autonomous, agnostic, and cost-effective. This is the only way to create a real disruption.
So autonomous, no more humans.
No more humans.
Agnostic, you mean in type of facade?
Facade and roof access. People don't understand that what's going on roofs today, on high-rise building, I can curse, right?
Yeah, sure.
It's a shit show.
Yeah. So autonomous,
agnostic, cost-effective.
Cost-effective, okay.
So the agnostic, we're talking not just on the facade outer layer, that we want to build a solution that could fit most building, but roof access, it's a mess.
Yeah. And why is it a mess? What's up there?
You have been on a rooftop of a high-rise building.
Many
times.
Have
HVAC system. You have 100 different system, and there is no unity with any buildings.
And then the roof itself is there, right? Which is constantly being patched and picked up and screwed up and moved, right?
This was one of the biggest error of other players. They wanted to build some kind of an infrastructure on the roof. They wanted to do this kind of integration.
You mean the real estate on the roof, they need too much space, right?
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly. And I had these values that driven me moving forward. And I was looking for a CTO. And I knew that I'm doing something really ambitious and I need someone that has a lot of experience in the field because we have a lot of mechanics, different kind of mechanics. And we have a lot of software. We have AI, we have compute vision, we have a lot of things going on.
But as you said, the technology was there in other industries, right?
Exactly. So
you put this team together?
Yeah, I went out for like 30 dates with 30 different potential CTO. Then I met Itai, my special one, through a mutual friend. Itai is our CTO and co-founder. He has experience of almost 15 years in the fields of hardware, both for commercial experience and military experience. He's built some crazy stuff that you can only see on James Bond movies, from robots, UAVs, autonomous skyjet.
See, this is that cool shit we don't get on this show a lot, you know? This is where the rubber meets the road.
Exactly.
Right. So now, did you create one?
Yeah. So with Itai, when he started, he didn't understand this industry. So the first thing we did was get him into the loop. I took him for the tour in buildings in Tel Aviv, or probably 20, 30 buildings in Tel Aviv, to really...
Which you had access to.
Exactly, to illustrate for him the problem and why we need to do what we need to do. And we start working on that. And I knew from the beginning that we need to build something that the roof will only be a place that will be some kind of a docking station and will hold the robot. And the entire locomotion, the movement of the robot, need to be on the outer layer.
And what is it doing? What's the point of the robot? We get it, that needs to be this, this, that. But what is its value? Like, what's the point of the robot?
Yeah, so the robot, other than the fact that we're saving a lot of money, we're looking at the
money and cleaning.
Money and cleaning.
Right.
And again, it's as we
so
said
the first
earlier,
thing it's doing is cleaning.
Saving money. So the cost in the US for cleaning for 1 square meter, excuse me the audience that I'm talking in meters.
It's a little more than a yard,
Yeah.
3 feet.
And also the numbers are more appealing in the meters. For one,
Makes you sound smarter if it's meters. All right, I like it.
The cost for 1 square meter for cleaning in the US is between $1 to $2. Verobotic cost less than 10 cents.
And that's because of the human, right?
Exactly, because of the human and the fact that we were able to build a solution where the bill of materials is only a few $1,000s.
So instead of this crazy contraption on the roof, instead of needing now the slower moving labor,
exactly,
you were able to manufacture at a much less cost with much less square footage.
Exactly.
I'm going to be converting to square feet for you.
And you can imagine that, theoretically a 50-store building will pay today for traditional workers to do this job for $200K per year. Our goal eventually is to disrupt the market with, penetration price at half of the price. And still we are seeing a very good margins. So the first thing is cleaning, like you were saying. What else is it doing? So the first thing is cleaning, and we design it kind of a platform. So we have some kind of a robot that traverses vertically on the building. And we said to ourselves, okay, let's do cleaning. And then, okay, we have the robot on the building right now. Why won't do more stuff? Right. So we've added some unique sensors and unique vision technology to collect data on the building. So we're kind of doing MRI for the buildings at the same time. Oh, wow. And we were talking earlier about why it's important, predictive maintenance. And it's kind of
that local law 11, right?
Yeah.
Straight up predictive maintenance, right?
Yeah, but not just that, and not just in New York. The idea is today only after something happened to the building, if it's a glass that shattered, if it's water coming in, if it's segregation of the materials, the idea is to prevent it. And, we have the robot, we deployed it, we let it do the cleaning to collecting data. It's coming in again in a month or 2 months later. You can compare the data and to see if there is any problem. The idea is to alert before something happens, because when it's happened, it's too late. I mean, that's huge if that works, right? Which comes to my next question is like, so I agree, you've identified something like incredible, right? And you're saying that you could do it cost effectively. Exactly. But tell me about robotics. Like, how do you get that bad boy now to actually work, that it's actually doing something, right? Yeah. So the team that we have today we already have 10 people. Everyone are in the field of software, hardware. I'm the only one who's just bringing money, food, and happiness to the company. They're doing the most important stuff in the company. And a beautiful face. Right? Somebody's they can't see me. Someone's got to be at the fore. Oh, yeah, they can. They can see me. Okay. Okay. Yo, you're on the big screen, bro. Okay. Damn. You should have told me to put makeup today. That's... I've been being told that for a long time. I'm also going to have to change my hair. Everybody's telling me. Everyone's got something to say. You know what I'm saying? That's great. Wait, let me pose to the camera. So the team that we have is team with years of experience in production. So Itai, my partner, he built things from scratch. From prototype to MVP to mass production. So prototype was your first, you try at it? Yeah. So when we started last year, the first thing that we said, okay, let's prove that we can build a vertical walking robot. So we built the first version of the robot that can traverse on the building. We developed a very... So it already is there. It exists. Yeah, it exists. It exists. The first thing was the vertical walking. The second thing was the cleaning. And we're doing dry cleaning, which sounds a bit weird, but we've identified that the way that you do it and the occasion that you do it has a lot of effect. Because, today when they're cleaning buildings, they're doing it once, twice a year, 3 times a year. They have to put chemicals. They have to put water. We've designed the entire platform that it will be easy to scale and easy to deploy. The entire platform is less than 20 pounds, which is 9 kilograms, comparing to any other robotic in the industry, which is hundreds of pounds. Okay, the goal is kind of a vertical iRobot for buildings.
Okay.
You did a one-time installation on the roof, and the robot will know exactly when to go and to clean, what to clean, which data to collect, what to do with this data. It will be connected to the weather station, so it will know exactly if there is any chances of rain or high winds or anything like that.
So it's helping preventive maintenance. It's helping the cleaning.
Exactly.
You created the prototype, and then you said something MVP. What does MVP mean?
MVP means that this is the most, I would say that to make it easy for people, this is the first product that you go out there and you put it on buildings at customers. So right now we have a few generations of the prototype that we are keep improving it. We're going to have a first mini pilot in Intel in Israel. I don't know if I mentioned, but we are part of Intel Ignite, which is Intel acceleration program for deep tech technology.
Deep tech?
Yeah.
Now you're making me nervous.
Yeah.
Is it going to implement something in my brain as well? Or just clean the building and give us some data?
So deep tech means that this is not the companies that they're taking, it's companies that creating a real disruption for the industry. They're not taking like
existing
SaaS
APIs
companies.
and putting it together.
Exactly.
Okay.
So it's a very unique plan that we've got accepted to, which is a great milestone for Verobotics because we have the management team of Intel and Mobileye examining our technology, examining the team, validating the market, validating everything that we're doing.
And is Intel big in robotics besides the chips that we know about?
Intel does a lot of things in hardware.
Yeah.
And one of the things that we are working with them is that we are utilizing one of their unique sensors for vision.
Oh, wow.
So we are working with super talented people with a lot of experience.
To create
Intel.
this MVP.
Exactly. To create this MVP. And they also, it's people with like 15, 20 years of experience in the field of vision, of radar, lidars, and all of this stuff. So they can contribute a lot to us.
Which is different types of sensors, so LiDAR, radar, right? And
all
of these. So that way you can learn information about a building, right?
I don't want to get in too much technical details
and
to share too much of our secret sauce, but you can imagine that today...
Well, I can't imagine anyone can do it. You already said 20 pounds. You already said don't need a lot of real estate.
Exactly.
And you're saying that the existing is bulky, heavy, and difficult to use.
Exactly.
And you researched it.
Yes.
So I don't know if anyone's picking up your secret sauce. But let me ask you something, because I'm just so intrigued by the robotics. So I agree with you. I know all about local law. I'm telling you the lady died, right?
Yeah.
We know there's an issue out there. What's the biggest friction point? Like, what is the biggest issue you have? And I'm making the assumption that it just costs so much for this new technology in robotics. It's like just running out of dough before you have something real. What's your biggest friction point in this game?
The biggest friction is actually not the technology. When you're doing disruption, especially for the industry of real estate and construction, a lot of times the people that we are going to work with, it's like people that, for them, technology looks like some kind of something that it's still new. So I think that the biggest challenge
is the humans.
Is the human factor of understanding where robotics and technology is today. And it's connected to, mainly in New York, I would say, New York specifically, is regulation.
Government regulation,
exactly.
I can imagine.
However...
So what are some of the factors that you have now? Is it the federal government? Is it the state government, the city? What's the biggest issues with regulation?
The biggest issue is that they used to have the same methodologies of two people going on the roof, doing their job, they have all the authorization and so on. And now these two crazy people from Israel telling them, guys, come on. You don't need to put people on the roof. We have this robotic platform with safety factor of probably 5 times more than what you have today. And we need to convince them that this is safer and will make much more efficient. But at the same time, I believe there is a great opportunity here. There is a lot of way to get in the door of regulation.
But it's regulation. Like, what else is fucking new, right?
Because
so then what about, if you're talking about this, exterior robots, isn't that the federal government, the FAA or whatever, or Federal Aviation Administration?
Aviation, no, because it's not flying.
Okay.
This is why there is a lot of problems with drones.
Okay.
A lot of times that I'm talking with people about what we do, I say, why not drones?
Yeah.
Drones sound sexy, sound cool.
Yeah.
But drones today have a lot of issues. Power, connectivity, GPS navigation, because you can imagine that what happens when you put the drones in an area of a lot of buildings, a lot of glass, a lot of aluminum, Wi-Fi get confused, the GPS get confused, it's not scalable enough, energy, carrying weight, and so on. And we believe that...
Oh, so theoretically they sound amazing.
Sound amazing,
but, when push
but
comes
not for
to
that.
shove, it doesn't
exactly.
work.
Not for that. Not for that. And I can even share with you that we've got contact from companies that develop some kind of drone for inspection, and after they try to roll it within cities, they understand that it's kind of a journey. To get the drone, it's a mess. We need to bring a very specific someone that can fly it, and most of the time it's only like ex-military here in the US, and you need to have authorization, and it's like a lot of money, and it's a headache. So this is why our solution is kind of a hybrid solution.
So it's directly connected?
It's directly connected with a unique cable that we're using from the aerospace industry. The way that we've designed it, this is basically the experience of the team, and especially Itai, who is leading the product. Itai took all of the methodologies, all of the experience that he have with building very unique products, and he applied it on Verobotics. So you can say that, we're building a robot for building envelope upkeep and maintenance, but at the end of the day, he designed it like a UAV that's going to, for a unique task, a secret task to do whatever. And I think this is one of the things that's kind of making our solution very robust.
So when are we going to see it? When are we going to see this MVP? When are we going to see it not flying, tethered, tethering to buildings in New York?
Yeah, so right now we're on stealth. So even if you will go to our website, verobotics.com, it's very, I would say, you won't get too much information about what we're doing. We are going to have our first mini pilot in Israel with Intel in mid-July. But again, it's going to be still below the radar. In Q1 next year, we're going to have a few pilot case studies, and then...
Wow. Well, I hope so. I mean, I'll definitely be watching it. But let me ask you, because we were saying over the last couple of weeks that we bring in these technologists, and I think that they're the visionaries, right? You got into this business, extremely creative and obviously ambitious. And I have some questions about the overall market I want to ask you.
Okay.
Because my audience is cool. Like, we're dealing with this facade, local law 11. What kind of buildings are most of the buildings you're working on?
So we're aiming mainly in the beginning for building the curtain wall buildings, which is glass and aluminum.
And what's their use usually?
What do you mean?
What is the use of
commercial building.
Right. So let me ask you, what do you think is going to happen to these commercial buildings in New York now that people are working remotely? What do you think? Are they going to continue to build them? Is going to be less vacancy? Like, how is New York going to adapt to with these buildings? Nothing to do with robotics.
That's a great question.
Thank you.
You should prepare. No, I'm kidding. I want to be optimistic and say that COVID is way back. Working from home, we all hear about it. We all live it. We see it. I think that at the end of the day, people understand that it's not that efficient.
Right.
Seeing reports and really following on this field, and also, some of the investors that we have today and partners, this is what they do. They own assets, they rent it, they sell it. So we're very optimistic on this field, but also we are going into existing budget. On every buildings today on the world, they have a budget for building envelope cleaning.
Right, so you're not speculating on success beyond like new construction. You're saying if existing buildings today, which still have to be cleaned, which still have regulation, that's where you're working.
Exactly.
So this was just speculation. So for you, you're stating people come back to the office.
Yeah, but again, we are also really connected and following on what's going on. But even, buildings today and companies, the leading developer here in New York, for example, even during COVID, they needed to give the same service they obligated to their residents. I don't want to share names, but some of the leading companies here, they still had enough people in the team to maintain the building, for guard, for you name it, because once they are not doing what they promised in the contract, they're kind of, it's giving the exit opportunity to the other side. And this is for existing. We are looking also on new project, on development project. Obviously, existing buildings are the biggest market for us, because it's infinite. But we also have a unique solution for new project in the development, which is also something that we're working with. Because imagine that you have a building now, a new project, a 50, 60-story building. We are able to install the solution in the building process, the construction process.
So it's seamless, and you can't even, you don't even know it's there.
Exactly.
Which is going to take people really getting confident with it, right? I mean, that's the whole point right now, is convincing the humans, like you were saying, that this works and that this is the future, right?
Yeah, exactly.
And if you're successful at that, I imagine it's tremendous, right?
Exactly.
But there's many issues along the way. That's what
Exactly.
you're trying to solve
Yeah,
for.
exactly. And hardware is, you talked about it in the beginning, that we are the first robotic company that you're talking with. And the approach today, hardware is hard. Not a lot of people are choosing to go to this direction. Most of the companies, startups in any field is
Yeah, because they
software.
don't take the risk, right? It's simple, it's easier, immediate. You get immediate feedback, whereas you're building up all this risk and then hoping that it works.
Exactly.
So let me ask you. We said construction is angry. We agree, right? Hardware is hard.
Yeah.
So all day you're banging your head against people saying no, regulation, this, that. So how do you stay balanced? This is one of my favorite questions. So what do you do to balance your life when you have to deal with all this craziness?
That's a good question. Probably not doing enough. No, I'm kidding. Being entrepreneur is difficult. I think being entrepreneur in the world of hardware is even more difficult. In one hand, we're doing something that whoever sees our solution and come visit us in the laboratory and see it's operating in the video is like mind-blowing.
Amazing.
But the process is difficult, and I think this is a lot of working on myself.
So what do you do?
What do I do?
What do you like?
I do a lot of sports, meditation. You need to be focused all the time as much as possible, and to surround yourself with a good co-founder and a good wife and a good lover. No, I'm kidding. But at the end of the day, it's a journey. I talked with a friend about it a few days ago, and I told him, listen, it's between living in a roller coaster to being thrown in the ocean with how do you call it?
Inner tube? Like an inflatable tube?
Inflatable tube.
Okay.
And you need to manipulate to go out of the situation because, sitting at every entrepreneur that probably listen will share the same emotional because, we can have a call at 10 a.m. with an investor and a partner and to get an amazing feedback. And everything is like, wow, we're doing so well.
Later,
and then like 2 hours, exactly. No, not that, but, you can have a call 2 hours later with someone who's like dropping you down.
Yes, all day.
So,
So fitness and meditation keeps you...
fitness, meditation, and carbs. Yeah.
Carbs.
This is the best. I'm kidding. But at the end of the day is to control, not to, you experience a lot, and everyone's seeing startups, entrepreneurs. Everyone sounds perfect. You're raising money. You have customers. You're traveling the world. But at the end of the day, the founder blues, founder loneliness. I think that Y Combinator described as founder blues or founder loneliness. It's a process. It's a process that you need to understand, and a lot of the time, and also it's very popular today that you have resilience. Everything is perfect. Everything is okay. I also believe in that. You need to have resilience, but at the same time, you need to talk. So I think that also a good thing that we have today in Israel, from the previous run investor, Tau Ventures.
Yeah.
So they created some kind of a form of the CEOs. So we have a group that...
So you have a placed event.
Yeah, like AA.
Yeah.
But
technology,
but for technology.
Yeah, I got you.
I have few groups, actually. One is from the Tau Ventures. And the other is with friends of friends of friends. And the other is a really strong community that we have for robotics in Israel. Because as we said, most startups, especially in Israel, it's either cyber or fintech. And there are a few crazy people.
The proud, the many.
Exactly. They decided to go to hardware. So we have actually a crazy community, a WhatsApp group, which is very active, and we try to meet and we try to help each other because, again, there's not a lot of people in this field. We'll translate the name of the name of the group to English. We suffer and we enjoy doing hardware, kind of. And it's kind of a community.
Reminds me of Marcus Aurelius, like the first entrepreneurial stoic. You know what I mean? We suffer, and then we're happy as a result.
Stoicism, you said
right?
stoic. Yeah. Stoicism, I think it's probably a great approach that every entrepreneur needs to...
Well, that's why they said he was the original.
Yeah. Every entrepreneur, I can recommend reading this stuff and be aware of that.
Yep.
And it's a lot about being in control. And I'm saying that it sounds like I'm doing it. I'm not all of the time.
Yeah, of course.
But the idea is to be as much as focused as you can and to control the situation. To control as you much, they say in Stoicism, you can't control the situation, but you need to control yourself and you need to control your emotion.
Right.
Eventually, this is the key, and you need to see how we can surround yourself with good people that understand you, a supportive wife that I love.
We'll cut that out.
Yeah.
Max, Mike, we gotta cut that out.
And patience.
Well, listen, Ido,
patience.
I think it's super dope what you're doing. I appreciate your time coming on today.
Yeah, came especially to the US for that.
I mean, I love it. I love it. I love it. And we wish you the best of success, man. We'll talk soon.
Thank you very much.
You got
Thank
it,
you.
player.
Ciao. Bye-bye.
All right, bye-bye. So as you know, at Real Tech Talk Podcast, we have to decide at the end of the day if we are believers or we're not. And I was thinking about it because this paradigm is so difficult, right? How are you supposed to go out there, theoretically, build something to maybe see if it's going to work in the future? So I took a deep dive into this local law 11 and facades, and I understood, because we always have to deal with it when we build tall buildings. I'm telling you, it is so complicated in the real estate on a roof, right, which is sort of the smallest section of the actual building and surface area, right? Because if you got a lot area, as you go up, you set back. So the real estate on the roof is so tight, right? And again, you have these guys, you see them all over the city, hanging off buildings, and you're like, oh my God, this is the craziest thing. They're literally hanging off the building still. We don't have a better solution? Then I said to myself, you know what? We're able to use robotics in a lot of military practices, but we don't really use it in civilian day life, or as much as I know in construction, like we're trying to do it, but we haven't yet. So I saw this as a huge innovation, right? Is it worth the bet that they will one day actually have a prototype, not a prototype, an MVP that will be able to be used on the building? So I met, which you don't know, with his software and his hardware engineer. And these dudes, super geniuses. I mean, it's incredible what they did. They've already proven their ability to use robotics in other functions outside of construction. So if you ask me, I like to say, I'm a believer, and I'm going to put my money where my big mouth is, and I'm going to invest in this company. Obviously, disclaimer, I got to look at all the documents. I got to look at all the agreements. I got to see how they structured it. But all things being equal, I'm a believer, and I'm in on this bad boy all day long. And I get to see the back end of it, which you haven't yet. And as he said, he's in stealth mode. Well, they revealed that stealth to me, and man, this stuff is dope. So come follow along. I'll keep you posted on how it kind of goes down. And Verobotics, that's definitely a bet for me. Let's go, Vero. Hit the boom thing. Boom. All right, finally, audience. So, we're almost at the end. I know you guys are sad. I know I'm sad. But it's really important that I get your feedback. And I got to tell you, I've been getting some amazing feedback out there, trying to tie in what we're talking about to today's market, trying to give you guys action items as to how you can be a part of what I'm doing. So let me do a call to action. ERIC, Eric at rttpodcast.com. I want to hear from you. I want your feedback. And from there, there's a landing page actually where you can give me that feedback and you can talk to me. So get out there, get on your computer, Eric at rttpodcast.com. Let's go, people. I'm responding. I'm out there. It is me. This is not some robot / fucking, what's that thing called? Hologram. This ain't a hologram. I'm real, baby. So come on down. Eric at rttpodcast.com. And finally, we're getting some cross-promotion out there, but that's that secret DL sauce that you're not going to know about, where you're going to see me out there more. So if you're liking what you're hearing, I promise you to come from many different angles, many different mediums. All right, everybody, it's been a pleasure. See you next time on that Real Tech Tizzle Dizzle Talk podcast with Eric Brody, your host.